What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel today. Today we're going to talk about tools. No, not the tools you may be thinking of on the internet and Facebook. You guys know the tools I'm talking about. Now, today we're going to talk about valve spring compressors, specifically two different styles for the Coyote engines. So let's dive right on into them, shall we? So over here on the left, we've got the Freedom Racing valve spring compressor. So nice heavy duty steel piece. It's actually designed to work with, you're supposed to be able to change springs with the cams still in the vehicle. I've never attempted that. I know some people have done it and it says it's not real enjoyable, so I'll take their word for it. I'll just take the cams out. So then on this side, we've got the Euroexport one. I actually thought it was Eurosport for a long time until I actually held the tool here and it's got that X right there and it's like, oh, been saying that wrong for a while. So nice aluminum construction, bolt for pushing down the, well, what would you call this? Basically this tool sits on top of the retainer, then this bolt screws through there and presses down. So as you can see, it's got a nice little receiver hole for the tip of that bolt to sit in there. That's all presses down in there. Whoa. I've got this cylinder head here that I'm getting ready to send out for porting. So I figured I'd shoot this quick little video just showing you guys how each one of these tools work. Show after I get done with both of them, maybe go over some pros and cons on them and go from there on it. So let's get started on this, guys. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the cam caps. These are numbered from the factory. Just keep note of where each one goes. Sorry if that's all the way up in the camera's face. It may be really loud. Sorry about that. Okay. So got that all off. Let's start with the Euroexport one first. So it bolts down to, takes place of two of the cam caps at once. Then you got to make sure you've got it all set up on how this is intake side. Make sure your 4 bolt holes line up with the valves that you're getting ready to change the springs on. Okay, so that's all set up. Let me reposition this all in a little bit, see if I can't get you guys a better view of what's going on in there. Okay, since you got the tool all installed on here now, you'll set this down in. Try not to block too much of the view here. So, okay, you got that all in place. So you run the bolt down. Make sure you line up right in the center there. Make sure that's all steady. Then you're gonna ratchet this down until the retainer is down far enough to remove the keepers. You can see in the background there. Hopefully you can see that. As that retainer there dropped backwards. So you just want enough room for, you only need to lower it enough to remove the keepers. So small magnet in there, grab both of those. Try to make sure you don't if you're doing this on the car, make sure you don't drop those down. They go down a oil drain back, and then you're having to, if you're lucky, fish them out of the oil pan. Worst case, you're going to take the oil pan off and dig them out and all that, and it's no fun. All right. Then you'll remove that. Then you can go back in with your magnet, grab the retainer, then you can grab the spring. Voila, you're ready to put on your new spring. In this case, we're just using the stock spring over, so. And so get those both set back into place. Then back in with this. Sorry that that's blocking some of the shot. So make sure it's positioned nice and square onto your retainer. Make sure the bolts lined up centered in the then you're going to run the spring down. Get just enough room to, again, get the 3 grooves exposed. That way you can put your keepers back in. To do that, put a little bit of assembly grease, something, dielectric, just whatever a person wants to choose. Then just put that down on there. That way it holds it. Because it's kind of tedious trying to work down in there. Then push that on. Move the one out of the way a little bit. Repeat with the other side. Then slowly come back up, make sure that the retainer is going up over the keepers evenly. Otherwise they can snag and kind of, if it kicks over to one side or the other, it can grab one of the keepers and shoot that thing out like a little bitty mini rocket, and you'll spend half your afternoon trying to find that, or you know, wherever else it could have shot. Then boom, you've got a valve spring changed. Now with this tool, you'd be able to go ahead and do, let me move this. Now with the way this tool's set up, you can bolt it down once and you're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're gonna do 4 of your intake valves at once, getting those springs changed out. So that's a pretty handy feature. But I mean, that was shot in real time, changing that one. It's easy doing this up on a bench, so don't get that confused that it's that simple in a car, because you're having to lean over a car. Everything's a lot more confined and all that. So okay, well, that worked out pretty well. Let's get changed out, get this one off and go to the Freedom Racing one. Okay, now on to the Freedom Racing one. First, you'll take your base here, which, I think it goes on per the side you're using. Then it's a 5mm to tighten down these bolts where the old cam cap bolts were. To hold this all in place while you're changing your spring. Okay, so that's all done. Then you'll take this, make sure you line it up in the grooves, let it drop on down. Get this bolt set in there, start it a little bit. Okay. Then you'll normally do this in a pair, but I'm just doing the one on this side, so set that on there, make sure it's solid down on to the retainer. Then loosely run this down by hand. Then let me get you guys all set up over here. and to watch this as it goes on. Okay, got you guys moved over into position to watch the process on this one. So the overall process is pretty much the same. Just want to show you how each one works. So, as before, take it down far enough to let the keepers fall. These aren't falling out now because they've got the grease on them from earlier. But typically they'd fall out like we had there a few minutes ago. Alright, so those out. Back that back off. Till this is free. Okay, you got that free. You need to reach in, grab your spring and retainer. Then in goes your new spring. Old spring for us. Then, same process. Get this all screwed down. I do notice this one moving around a little bit more compared to the Euroexport. So, and with keeper number 1. Again, remember some sorts of lube or something on there. You always got to make time for a little bit of lube for everybody's pleasure. Then number 2 on there. So then, as I said earlier, just slowly back it off. Make sure that the retainer is going up evenly over the keepers. That way the keepers stay in place and you have an enjoyable day and not a day spent looking for keepers. And there's that. So in closing on this, hopefully you guys liked the comparison, liked seeing how they worked. If you saw valve spring compressor work before, if not, now you know how they work. So the question would be, which one would I choose? Either one will get the job done. I mean, comes down to that. They both do the job. They both do the job very well. To recommend one would be kind of hard. I mean, that's going to come down to what you prefer and how much money you're willing to spend, how often you're going to use the tool. I've used the Freedom Racing one probably on I mean, it's hard to say, probably at least 30 to 40 different Coyotes doing valve springs on them, and it's never missed a beat. Nothing's ever happened to it. I don't have a lot of first-hand experience with the Euroexport. I know a lot of people have used the 2-valve and 4-valve ones over the years, and I've never saw anybody say they've had a problem with it. So in today's day and age, if you see something and there's no bad review about it, but you don't see no good reviews, because you don't see any bad reviews, probably means it's a pretty good product, because nowadays everybody's pretty quick to jump on the old internet and want to bash something. So it's not always the product's fault all the time. Sometimes it's an uninformed user. But as far as it, I mean, as far as it goes, it's a good sturdy aluminum piece. As you can see, nice and thick. Could probably work for a very long time and have no issues. So, you know, I would have no problem suggesting either one of them. It may come down to a fact of, what do they cost? The Freedom Racing one's about $200. The Euroexport one is anywhere from $80 to $90. So you're talking a, you know, $100 swing there. So it's going to come down to what a person wants to spend in their toolbox and so forth. I've already bought the Freedom Racing one, so that's what I'm going to keep using in my shop. It's what I like, what I prefer. I like the little bit of more room this gives you to work with getting the keepers in and everything. But like I said, it's gonna come down to how much you want to invest in tools that you're gonna have at your own house or shop, so forth, whoever's wanting to take this advice. I'll use that one. You know, for the guy that's going to do a set of springs and camshafts in his car one time, I would probably have to say you use the Euroexport one. You know, you use it your one time, throw it up on the forums or something for sale for, you know, 65, 75 bucks or whatever. Used once, somebody's going to pick that up, and, you know, maybe it just keeps a little cycle going there. But for me, that's what I'll use here at the shop. Not because it's better per se or a superior tool. It's just, it's what I have, it's what I prefer, so I'll stick with that. So that's all we got to talk about tools today. Maybe we'll get into some of the other tools in the shop and specialty tools or something like that. If there's any other tools, how they work kind of deals that you guys want to see, be sure to drop those down below in the comments. As always, like, share, and subscribe, guys. The channel's growing slowly, but it's growing. So you guys keep it growing. I'll keep putting out as many videos as I can that I think are actually useful and helpful. Till then, see you guys next time.